The following video contains spoilers for Ensemble Studios' Halo Wars from this time index onward. The UNSC Spirit of Fire was a Phoenix-class colony ship constructed in 2473 and converted into a warship more than 50 years later following the outbreak of the Human Covenant War. Following its refit, the Spirit of Fire filled the role of a heavy support ship and launching platform for planetary invasions. The vessel carried a massive force of mechanized ground vehicles, aircraft and infantry, as well as several prefabricated ground bases. This allowed the Spirit to quickly establish a foothold for an invasion force on a planet's surface and field a sizable army in a fairly short time. The Spirit of Fire is 2,500 meters in length and 800 meters wide. The ship carries a complement of over 11,000 personnel, including ground assault forces, and is propelled by 8 massive thruster engines taken from the scuttled destroyer UNSC Calcutta and mounted on the ship's stern, giving the ship 37% higher thrust output than the stock vessel. Like the vast majority of human spacecraft, the Spirit is also equipped with a Shore Fujikawa slipspace drive, allowing for faster than light travel. The Spirit of Fire is exceedingly well armed for a support ship, boasting 22 large caliber deck guns, dozens of 50mm point defense arrays, several AT-AF missile turrets, and, like most UNSC warships, a single massive caliber magnetic accelerator cannon, or MAC gun. The Spirit of Fire was commanded by Captain James Cutter during the Harvest campaign and the events that followed. The ship was equipped with an advisory smart AI known as Serena and carried several civilian consultants, including Professor Ellen Anders. The Spirit partook in the First Battle of Arcadia alongside the Armstrong, Belfast, Texas and Pillar of Autumn. Across the course of the battle, ground forces attached to the Spirit of Fire were able to evacuate a large portion of the planet's population, saving them from the Covenant assault, and were even successful in neutralizing a Covenant super scarab. However, during the events of the battle, Professor Anders was captured by the Covenant Arbiter, and the Spirit of Fire was forced to abandon their position above Arcadia and pursue the Arbiter into deep space. In the course of their pursuit, the crew of the Spirit of Fire discovered an ancient Forerunner shield world known as Shield 0459, and became the first humans ever to encounter the parasitic life form known as the Flood. Unfortunately, the crew of the Spirit would never be able to report their discovery to the rest of humanity. In order to destroy Shield 0459 and prevent the Prophet of Regret from securing advanced Forerunner warships from the Shield world, Captain Cutter was forced to authorize the use of the Spirit's FTL drive as an offensive weapon, destroying the planet and the Forerunner ships stored within. Though the Spirit of Fire escaped the destruction of Shield 0459, the ship was left without the capacity for superluminal travel, forcing the crew to consign themselves to indefinite cryogenic hibernation as the ship began its long journey back to Earth at sublight speeds. On February 10th, 2534, the Spirit of Fire was declared lost with all hands by the UNSC and was memorialized on the Living Monument after the war, along with numerous other ships lost in battle with the Covenant. However, many continue to speculate about the ship's true fate. Thank you for watching Spacedock. Please remember to like, subscribe and share for more science fiction spacecraft summaries. And if there's a particular spacecraft you'd like to see looked at, let me know in the comments below and I'll get right on it.